Sup, veggie outers, Elijah here, and I'm gonna be starting something new with the Facebook group. See, as most of y'all know, and if y'all don't know, then you'll know now. But the Veggie Outers was originally formed as basically an education group to teach people how to be vegan or how to consume less meat and show them the options. Now, we've obviously morphed into more than that, which is awesome, but I do think it is appropriate to get back to our roots somewhat, just a little. So, what we're going to be doing today, some one of my Facebook friends. I've never met this person in real life. You know how people add you on Facebook and then you decide to add them back. One of those things. They recently stopped being vegan because of a variety of reasons, and they put this in a post. So I'm actually going to be reading this post out loud and basically share what they did wrong, what they could have did to get back on track, and use this as a teachable moment. Now, I haven't got his permission to necessarily use this post. There might be some fear of ridicule. So, for that reason, I'm not going to go straight to the Facebook page and read it like there. I just copy and pasted it into Grammarly, and then I'm going to read it, kind of react to it as I'm reading it, and then share some solutions. Because one thing that food is in our lives, if you start getting better or start getting worse or whatever, there's a lot of ridicule surrounded around like your health. So if you've been kind of put on a pedestal because you switched to a plant-based diet, then you start having problems, those around you, you may feel like you can't go to anyone for help. And that's exactly what the Veggie Outers is meant for. Not just to help people go vegan, but to help people stay vegan because vegan is still a vegan doesn't necessarily automatically mean healthy. It can just be the lesser of two evils when compared to the standard American diet. You still need to be doing the right things. So let's go ahead and move on to this post. Give me a sec to share the Grammarly screen so y'all will be able to follow along. Let's make this a little bigger. And yeah, okay. So, after 7 years on a whole plant based organic vegan diet and dealing with constant hunger, feeling unsatisfied even after eating copious amounts of food, strong cravings, one bowel movement a day, and not being able to gain weight, I had to reconsider going back to animal products. It was not an easy decision, but I gave it a try and haven't looked back yet because in a couple of months on a quality animal product diet, which includes mostly grass fed beef, raw dairy, farm fresh eggs, pasture raised chicken, raw honey, fruits, rice, and sweet potatoes. I was able to address all the issues that started to develop on a vegan diet, and I feel significantly better. And I've been able to gain almost 10 pounds of muscle. At first thought that was a mouthful. That's the definition of a run-on sentence. That's why I started to drag on towards the end. Okay, let's address a few things. So he's been vegan for about 7 years. He says he struggled with constant hunger and feeling unsatisfied after eating lots of food, strong cravings, one bowel movement a day. So right off the bat, I'm gonna make the, I guess, medical claimer or I guess professional claimer. I'm not a certified nutritionist, but it sounds like he's not getting enough protein and he's also not getting enough food variety. He didn't break down exactly what he was eating. So um, sounds like he wasn't getting enough grains or just enough protein in general, and not enough macronutrients. And to some degree, not enough micronutrients either. So the solution here is just to make sure you get a variety of macronutrients. Make sure you get your grains, your legumes, stuff like that. And as far as protein goes, let me pull up another tab. Yeah, here we are. So for those of y'all that don't know, and this will be linked in the comments. Any questions that you want to ask me personally? I've been a vegan for 11 years, and I'm not a solitary just sit in the house like eating my plants vegan. I'm the athletic type. I actually have a personal story that I'm going to share, and I'm not saying this to flex or anything. In fact, I haven't really told this story to hardly anyone except for like close friends. Maybe some of the original veggie artists may remember this, but I've said several times I'm the athletic type. I do run 5K runs every now and then, and I run on a regular basis, in addition to lifting weights and stuff. But in 2016, after I'd already been vegan for a few years, I actually did go do MMA classes. One of my mentors at the time told me that I should get involved in MMA because I still had some shyness inside of me, being an introverted person, and the MMA will kind of purge that and bring out the that I would need to be successful as an entrepreneur. So I did that, and I was in there for about 6 months, and some interesting things that happened while I was doing that. I started gaining weight, like muscle mass. Keep in mind that we're going to go into like what I use to gain muscle mass later. But I gained muscle mass, my testosterone levels were highly elevated. So I had a lot of energy. And this was the point where I actually launched the app Lifestyle. I was being an Uber driver and I drove for Uber Eats and I worked 60, 70 hours a week. Not really doing much else because I was just focused on building something. And the pros of that is I got a lot of stuff done, but the cons of like having that elevated testosterone is it's very easy to lose your temper. But some of y'all may have actually seen like in a time period of 2016, there's like a 6 month time period where I wasn't really smiling that much. That's because this is something I learned myself, but men get testosterone boosts from eating meat. And if you're not eating meat, then that doesn't really occur, obviously. But if you're working out or you're put in a situation where your body needs to produce more testosterone, needs to be more externalized, testosterone produced from your body is more potent than these testosterone boosts you get from meat. So I can personally attest to he clearly was not doing this right because I have personal experience where I literally went into scenarios where I was fighting men twice my size, and I was gaining muscle mass. And I don't care what you say, but the biggest form of athleticism as a man is to be able to fight. That's part of the reason that I'm doing this video because we need to point out when something's wrong and it doesn't have anything to do with the diet. It has to do with his approach. So now y'all know my athletic background that I haven't really shared all that much. Let's go ahead and get into dissecting this. We're going to scroll down. And in this article, well, this FAQ section, I share one of the sources of protein that I take. This is the protein formula that I personally take. Now, I used to just take care of my protein needs without this, but someone's calling. That must be a robocall. I used to take care of my protein needs without this, but I basically just got lazy. So the same herbs that are here in this formula are very high in protein. They're obviously vegan. You can get them by yourself and take them, or you can just grab this. So let's look at the ingredients: organic hemp protein powder, organic moringa leaf, organic alfalfa leaf, organic pea protein. I'm not going to go through all of them because I have linked this in the article if you want to check the ingredients. But the point is, you want to make sure you get your protein, but you can do so in a very convenient way, which is kind of the approach I take for nutrition in general. So I take a nutritive approach. That means that I take something that kind of covers your bases, so I don't have to put a heavy focus on getting micronutrients in my diet. I just focus on getting a variety of macronutrients. That's how I basically cover all my bases. If you want to know more about a nutritive and what are some various nutritives, y'all can check this FAQ section on their own time. But some examples are here, like various formulas that people have made. Or you don't have to take this stuff. You could just grab it, get the ingredients, and do it yourself. But that's the concept of a nutritive. Real quick, Veggiators. So I'm actually gonna share a quick tip for y'all that don't really like swallowing stuff. So you might see some type of herbal formula that has great benefits, but you won't want to be swallowing like a bunch of pills or capsules. Hey, I completely am with you, and I have a solution for that. So just watch and see. So this is a jar, and this is a formula that helps your brain. So I'm literally just pouring water inside the jar, and I'm going to take the capsules. Doing this with one hand, I will admit, is challenging. I didn't mention this before, but I only consume organic herbs that are in capsules. But you know, a lot of people, myself included to some degree, you don't really feel like swallowing a bunch of like capsules. So this is a way to get around that and still get the nutrients in your body. So I'm going to take these and I'm not dumping them in the water. I'm just going to break them up on top of the jar. That's done. So you can take a look at the jar. You see that it's been dumped in. You can also get, some of these formulas have powder versions, so you can just get a powder version and just give it a good shake. It's been shaken enough. Open it up and drink it. These formulas for me are pretty tasteless. They don't really have much of a taste. But if taste is an issue for you, you can do this right before you eat something. That way the taste isn't lingering in your mouth that much. You'll just eat whatever you were about to eat and you've got a nutrition inside you. You can also just drink some water straight after this to help gush it down, and you wouldn't have to deal that much with the taste. But like I said, herbal formulas, at least in my opinion, they don't have like a strong taste. But maybe my taste buds are immune. I just gave solutions to deal with it just in case you don't like the taste. But this is a convenient way to get stuff like this to your system without having to swallow a bunch of pills. Let's go back to Grammarly and keep reading. I think short term, a whole plant based diet is helpful, especially for someone on a SAD diet, standard American diet. But I wouldn't recommend it long term based on my experience. To each their own, though. I'm glad I was never pushy or a judgmental vegan. Also, the ability to change our mind on issues we once held as truth based on experience and newly discovered information is crucial for continuous growth personally and collectively. I do agree with that last statement. But to be quite honest, it's kind of contradicting because he didn't really adapt like he probably should have. Clearly, there was some type of. Let me stop sharing. Clearly, there was some type of issue that was going on, and I don't think he sought the help he needed to make sure he was getting what he needed on a plant-based diet. Diet is a planning activity. If you're not doing it, it doesn't matter what diet you're on. Uh, So-called regular diet, vegan diet, vegetarian diet, keto diet, whatever, you have to make sure that you're planning it out well. Now, here's another thing I'll say. These extreme diets like juicing or fruitarian, they've gained a lot of hype throughout the years. But as far as we know, no one has been able to last like 20, 25 years on these type of diets. So you end up feeling great because your body detoxifies yourself. But after about a year or two, you really start to go downhill. Atrophy occurs because you're not getting what you really need. So this is why I tell people, in terms of changing your diet, if you want to do that stuff, by all means, and maybe get all that stuff out your system, do it for 6 months to a year. But your base fallback diet should be a normal plant-based diet with at least a majority whole foods or a raw foods vegan diet, because these are the diets that you can look at within the last 200 years, and there are people you can point to that are living long lives on these diets. Now, the raw food vegan diet is more of a recent phenomenon, but a good example I could point to is a YouTuber called OK Raw. He's been raw foods vegan for about 28 years. I say those extreme diets are supposed to be temporary and that you shouldn't be doing them for longer than a year. I don't think he was doing an extreme diet, but it was clear that he was not getting enough macronutrients in his diet, plant based, and he was not getting enough protein. Both of those things are something I address in a very convenient way. I'll explain the protein. How you address the macronutrients, literally, like as you can see back here, is kind of like my vegan, I'll say my healthy shelf in my library. And there are various not YouTube, there are various books, recipe books. If you're struggling on a vegan diet, one thing, let us know in the group. You can, if you want to, you can just message me. You don't have to let the whole group know, and I'd be more than willing to lace you up on some game. Or you can put it in the whole group. Just say, hey, I'm kind of struggling with learning new recipes, or I'm having this problem. And there are other long-term vegans that can jump in and put their 2 cents in too. Don't feel like the fear of ridicule. But get a recipe book, a vegan recipe book. You might even win one at a Veggie Artist meetup. Make a commitment once every 2 weeks. I think it's fair that everyone can commit to one every 2 weeks. And just try a new recipe. And make sure your recipe has some macronutrients in it. Okay. Like you got these fruitarian recipes and vegetable recipes and salads. Make sure it's got macronutrients. Okay. Particularly grains. And commit to learning that recipe. Get yourself a journal. Once you try that recipe, either you like it, you think it's kind of like, it's okay, or you don't like it. If you like it, add it to the journal. If you don't like it, it's up to you when you want to add it or not, because sometimes you might want to have recipes in there that are just kind of filler. But if you don't want to, then don't add it. And keep doing that. Over a 6 month span, you will have increased your inventory of recipes that you can pick from in a pretty organic way. And committing to a recipe once every 2 weeks is not going to hurt time wise. You can even do this without recipe books if you want. You could just Google vegan recipes or healthy vegan plant based recipes or recipes without soy. You know, you can do this. So, with that being said, I think I've said everything that I need to say because I'm now going back to it, the constant hunger, the feeling unsatisfied even after eating a bunch of food. I mean, it just screams that he was probably eating a bunch of fruit, not getting enough protein. The one bowel movement a day, yes, definitely just not enough stuff in the system. But what do y'all think about it, Veggie Outers? And do y'all have any questions about what I said or questions about how you feel like he could have handled this differently? I thought this was a great teachable moment. And we'll start doing stuff like this more often. If y'all come across something that y'all want me to react to or get my 2 cents in, put it in the Facebook group and we'll look at doing this on a more regular basis. All right, Veggie Outers, I'll see y'all at the next meetup. Catch you later.